Hello everyone, welcome back. I have spent the last week poking around at the material design library and come to the conclusion that I want to see about trying to get a release done and out the door. So my goal tonight is to actually, there's a couple items I'd like to see about getting merged in, and then ultimately building and shipping a release. And then we can look at what it's going to take to start spinning stuff in prep for either a 3.3 release, 4.0. We'll see. I'm not sure what the middle ground is going to look like. So that's where we're going. That's what I'm thinking. So more WPF. So there's a couple things in particular. So this navigation rail is one that I'm very interested in trying to get in. But it looks like there was issues with the build agent, which kind of is interesting to me, and I'm thinking I might just need to sign in. Code reviews, I know, Kenny. Code reviews are awesome. Um, but I'm wanting to figure out. So this is something I don't actually know the answer to. When my pipeline fails, one, apparently people don't, the external users don't have the ability to just go and kick it. Oh, excellent. I'm sorry. It's hard to understand excitement. It's very hard. Let's dive in. I want to understand. I think I can just re-kick some of these. So there was an issue with some code that I had checked in where it would just run forever. And I think these builds got caught in that. But I'm also concerned that there might be a bug that's causing it. Both of which scare me. So this one's just straight up unit test failures. I'm surprised this one is here. Material design tab control. So this is just failing to load a resource. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we can, because I really do want to get this navigation rail in and going. So we are going to see about getting this navigation rail. It's kind of old, like based on code from a month ago. I'm somewhat tempted. Yeah, if we're gonna do this, we're just gonna rebase. So checked out the. Actually, let me switch back to master real quick, just to make sure I'm not crazy. Pull up master to make sure I'm on latest. Right, and then I got too many branches. Delete. Delete. There. Okay. That ends the problem of too many branches. Okay, and now I'm going to just rebase this guy on master. So effectively, see, this is what I was wondering about. Do I have it open? I'm wondering if Visual Studio's unhappy with me. So reset, reset. Let's try this one more time. Rebase, this time without Visual Studio in the way. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Boom. So there's all of that. And let's take a look at where we are with this guy. Because I do want to get this guy rocking and rolling. So the other thing is, I apparently managed in the course of installing .NET 5e stuff, I botched a downloaded NuGet package. And so I had to blow away my entire local NuGet cache. So there's a very real chance that I have something that's going to be broken. So I haven't actually done this solution or redone the packet restore, so there could be an issue there. We will see. Build succeeded. That's a good thing. Though 109 errors and build succeeded, we're just going to rebuild one more time to make sure that everyone's actually happy. Because it should compile, right? Compiling's the first unit test. Rebuild all successful. So I'm just going to relaunch because Visual Studio's clearly lost its mind, and there are not 109 errors. The compiler confirms it to me. We are going to see where we're at, because I'm guessing what's happening is the unit tests are failing, which is fine. We will clean them up, but we are going to rerun these guys and see what happens. I had hoped, there was a couple thoughts that I had, so a few things I'm going to share. So for anyone who has done anything with OBS for streaming and putting together presentations, Scott Hanselman posted an amazing video this week of how to effectively green screen yourself into a PowerPoint presentation, which is awesome. So if you haven't been using OBS before, it's common software that a bunch of streamers will use because it lets you put together all your video things and send them out the door. In this case, using it to make your PowerPoint presentations look great. So especially if you're doing remote presentations, it's pretty cool. So the thing is he put together just a little command line app for doing it, and part of me really wants to take it and make a nice pretty little WPF app out of it and get it to where the common man can use it. As Scott put it, his target audience were people about his age who were him, so kind of a narrow audience target there. So I realize you can't see it and I can't drag it over, but the UI tests are actually running on my other monitor. So there's windows flashing and stuff happening, but the little thingy is ticking. Oh look, if I move my mouse, look at that. The trick is to just put it's following the mouse cursor. Excellent, that won't annoy anybody. Now everyone can watch it click, 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 click through all the tests. And this is what I'm sort of hoping to get to is if I can start cutting off bugs by writing UI tests like this, hopefully we get to the point where I can just trust my entire test suite, and if all the tests pass, we ship. So that is the end goal. I am thinking too, if I get time, we are going to get Hacktoberfest items written up. So people who haven't contributed to this library before, take a look at anything labeled as Hacktoberfest because it's designed to be a good entry-level one. For those regular contributors, I would encourage you to ignore the Hacktoberfest labeled ones. I know they look easy, but at least ignore them during the month of October and help out new people until we see how many people are jumping in and doing it. Okay, so that all worked. So that's all well and good. Let's jump over here. I want to look at this, and I want to check. So we do want to. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to drop some of these items here. Specifically these guys. We're going to take the tab control out because for now I don't want to include it. At some point we may circle back and use it, but for now it is going to be in a commented out state. Is this used outside of the commented code? It is. Okay, so this guy here is the navigation rail. It's great. Okay. Move test. You're in my way. Navigation rail is in and fine. That's in and fine. Let's go back to the demo app and let's just handle that guy real quick. So demos, material design demo. Let's see, there's probably this guy that's going to need to drop. And I'm trying to decide the easiest way to omit him. It's probably easiest to just delete this from here. I mean, we're not going to lose this. In fact, I'm likely, I think I'm going to push this a copy of this branch. And actually, before I do too much, right? So let's see. Let's make a copy of this. So this is worthwhile knowing. Making copies of branches. So something worth noting here, right? I've got a bunch of remotes. So I've got my fork of the material design project, and then we've got the actual origin material design project. And I've got this navigation rail branch that I'd kind of like to make a copy of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply set upstream, and I'm going to change it off of the original authors to mine. So I've changed the upstream branch that this guy's pointed to, and I'm just going to push it. Right? Poof. And then what we'll do is we'll go back, set the upstream back to where it was. Submit. And now I'm pointed back to Henjig. I'm probably butchering that name. I'm pointing to his branch, which is what the pull request is from. So, but now I've at least got, no matter what happens, I've got a copy of this branch sitting out here so that I can always get back to it. Because I do think I want to come back and revisit this tab stuff, and that way I'm not reliant on somebody else's fork to maintain the code. I'll just keep my own copy. Okay. So that handles that. But that has likely broken main window view model. Probably under domain, main window view model. So I expect that I should see a, yeah, big red area. So this whole area with tabs, yeah, we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so that handles that. That handles that. So I believe, let's fire this up. And let's check on the, I want to check on the PR too, because I think most of the comments were addressed from last time. So we went round and round a few times. This guy's good. Let's see. Let's see. So this is background setting to null. A white solid brush. Interesting. Okay. There's a few things here, but I think what I'd like to, so I'm very happy if this work continues. That would be awesome. But I think what I'm going to do is merge the PR as is, and then circle back. Yeah, I think that's ultimately how we'll do this. Is we will. Oh, we could actually get fancy. We could reset the PR without these deletions back in here. So let's fire this up. Let's take a look at this. So navigation rail. So this is what we want, right? This guy here. So this guy, text block background light gray. That's expected, right? And then this guy's, sorry, I'm trying to look and see which one of these. Spade. Oh, so this is why. Got it. So his comment here about background null. Let's take a look. Because there's a very real chance that I did do that. Let's see. Background null. So it was at the root of the tab control is where it was. I think that's probably, well, let's just open Snoop. Let's just open Snoop. That's the other project I gotta get. So many projects to get back to. So many projects to do. Let's take a look. So specifically, so this one has a, so the top tab, this background explicitly is being set to light gray. So I don't know if you can see the subtle color change between those two. This guy here, background. Show it to me. So this guy here is picking up material design flat button ripple. So this guy is hold on, that's not the background. This background is transparent. That doesn't have, so this guy has no background, no background, no background. Just keep working our way up the food chain. Background transparent, that's what we expect. No background. Sort of expect that. Background white. So tab control dock panel is what's getting the background set on it from the parent template. So let's go and take a look. Let's see. Dock panel template binding background. So this guy here is getting a background applied to him. Let me just check and make sure that I don't think anything in here should be doing it, but I just want to confirm. So those are just primary color themes, but one of these okay, go here. I want to see all this. Group by path and file. Why is there not group by project? I want to group them by project, and I want to collapse everything in the colors project. That should be a thing. Okay. None of those, none of those. It's not any of those, not any of those. So the light theme brush, I was just looking to see if there was perhaps something else that was applying a base theme to this. Shouldn't be any of them, because the only ones that could do it would be the light theme brushes, and those ones are definitely not being applied right now. So when this guy says parent template, gonna kind of have to disagree a little bit. So I guess for now, background, let's just go back to the null and leave it like that for now, because this should I'm thinking rather than null, dynamic resource material design paper. So that's the standard background color, which I think is what I would say is expected, right? I'm on a dark background, so this color here, I sort of expect the background here to default to that. No, unless otherwise told. I kind of suspect that some of the background of this might be, well, no, that doesn't make sense. Regardless, this color matches this color, which is the theming color I would expect. That makes sense to me. Just check this. I'm wanting to see if there's anything fancy that's nothing fancy that's happening there. And if we confirm here, yeah, the tab control itself doesn't have anything explicit specified to it. It's just set to a navigation rail. Perfect. Okay, so given that, the only thing that I would say is then the foreground. I'm wondering if this guy here should just be Dynamic resource material design body, I believe is the brush name. And then let's just relaunch because I don't trust the edit and continue when editing templates. It works sometimes, not all the time. Back to my invisible Mountain Dew. Okay. Also, I was spending some time. One thing that I want to do, and I don't know if it'll happen pre-4.0 release, is one thing that's constantly bothered me since the start of this. Solution Explorer is over on the right side. I reinstalled my Visual Studio 2, so I lost all my settings. One thing that's bothered me since the start of this project is you can specify a dark or a light theme, and then you can specify a primary and an accent color, right, or a secondary color. The part that always kind of gets me a little bit is your primary color theme may look great against either light or dark theme, but rarely do they look good against both. And so one thing that I want to allow is the ability to set an option in here. So it would be an opt-in behavior, but the ability to change your primary or accent color such that you get an appropriate contrast level. So material design has a contrast level of at minimum 3.5 to 1 or 4 to 1 for the contrast ratio. You can imagine the problem with having like dark text on a dark background, right? You want light text on dark background, but how do you determine how different those colors need to be, right? And so there's a fun algorithm for doing it. If anybody's watched my XAML test videos, it's like the first or second one, we actually implement the algorithm over on the test library. But since I can now test if we have an appropriate contrast ratio, I want to implement an algorithm that shifts these colors appropriately. And I spent one evening where I stayed up way too late reading white papers. But I believe the answer lies in the JPEG GIF spec. So I think I know the algorithm. I think it'll work. But now I have to actually write something. So, because I would very much love it if when I open this up, I could actually realistically read this little search text, because that is hard to read. And if this was lighter, that would work great. But if it was lighter, it wouldn't look good in a light theme. So, hence the problem. Okay, navigation rail time. So still having that problem. Still having the problem. So let's see. I know we spent a bunch of time on this before, and I know I spent a bunch of time on it, but I'm kind of at the point where I just want to, even if I have to set something in very explicitly, I kind of just want to get it to go. Okay, so let's see. Collapse that up. So foreground and inherited. This is what's this was the baffling part. All right, is this guy shows a foreground of dark and it's inherited, but it's inherited from not its parent? Question mark. So that must mean this guy is inherited from something slightly higher up, but I believe that means we can fix it. I think we can just do this. So I think if I grab this guy, and go here, I think this might just be the tab item itself. Yeah, that's not quite what we want. Well, so here's the problem. It kind of is what I want, right? My color is now correct. That is the color I want for my font. And that somewhat explains how we do this. Okay, so this is where things get really frustrating with a tab control. Okay, because I think I now understand what's going on. Okay, so you've got a tab control, right? And it's effectively this whole thing that contains two tabs. A tab item contains two parts, right? The little part over here, the button part that you click on, and the little section over here that contains your content. So if we look at our tab item style, let's see, this doesn't make sense, so we're just going to delete that. If we look at our tab item style, this guy contains the color zone and the ripple, right? Which is what we see, so that ripple effect, right? Ripple, ripple, ripple. Edit and continue has failed me, right? But this ripple is the button portion of it, right? And if we look over here, this entire template, so we'll ignore the triggers, right? The entire template for this guy is focused on the button portion. If we come up to the tab control template, the selected item where the text is actually driven by this, right? So the source of this content presenter is the selected content. But that content is specified inside of the tab item. So it's inheriting from that guy. That's what's frustrating. So if I set the foreground here as I want, it's not, it will, grumble, 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 grumble. It will appropriately set the foreground. So that's the weird part, right? If you set the foreground color, and let's make this obvious, right? If I go to the navigation rail, right? So I've got a tab item, right? And I am going to pick on the first tab, and I'm just going to say foreground gets red, right? This should clearly indicate the problem. If I set this foreground to red, do you expect red to be applied to the header, the content, or both? And I think that's the problem, right? Is we've got a single control that's representing, or that manifests in two places, right? Was that the answer you expected? Was it even the answer I expected? Some days I don't know. So I actually mildly expected the foreground of the tab item, which is what we set, right? The foreground of the tab item. I'm going to relaunch. I sort of expected the foreground of this item to apply to both. So we're going to set this here and just see. Edit and continue could have failed me. There is a high probability. Yeah, I think that is more likely the expected behavior, I think. Let's check it in light theme. All right. Lines up, makes sense. Lines up, makes sense. Given that we eliminated the shadow, well, we didn't eliminate the shadow. The shadow is now, yeah, here's the shadow on the side. So that's still there. Okay. I think we do that. I'm going to take the red off of this. Okay, I think this is good. I think. Circle back. Were there any other comments on this guy? So we fixed the background. We fixed the foreground. occurs just in dark theme. Oh, let's check that again one more time. Yeah, I'm thinking we remove the shadow for now. Thinking we remove the shadow for now. So let's Okay, so we are going to jump back here. Let's see here. So this guy is, well, we can probably just hunt shadow, because this will be the shadow assist, shadow edges, shadow. Let's see. Do we need to, because it doesn't occur with shadow depth 0. I'm thinking, do we need this card? What does it do? It provides border. I'm thinking what we do is we just drop the shadow assist properties off of here and don't expose them. So if they aren't added here, these setters don't matter. We can drop the name shadow assist, I believe is unused. Yeah, so the name is not being explicitly set. So we can drop that guy off. We can drop this guy off of here. Drop that guy off of there, that guy off of there, that guy off of there. And that should still work. Item container style. I'm a little surprised that gives us any problems, but we are going to check it. What? Oh. When the error code is blank, that tells me that I changed too many things too quickly for the compiler to keep up. Let's see. Line number, invalid cast. Named object to type style. It says that I botched this guy here. Let's see. Cannot navigate to item. Am I crazy? But that looks... Oh, it's probably order of operations. It needs this guy declared before it can appropriately reference it. Okay, so let's clean that up. We'll get rid of the extra white spaces. Move you up, there. Tab item. Now you can find it. Excellent. Now we'll relaunch. Surprised it didn't compile error on me. Okay. Navigation rail. Thinking we drop that light gray from the background because that is a little disconcerting. So let's come over here. The light gray on the text block is no longer necessary. Let's see. I think it's specified in a couple places. We'll just clean that up. Clean that guy up. Where are you? Did I get them all? Yep. Okay, so that should be fine. noticing that thing came back, and that worries me. But it only came back during edit and continue, which makes me less scared, I guess. Let's see. Navigation rail. I am noticing I see. So it has nothing to do with the shadow. What is rendering that? That's a bit shocking to me. I'm a little confused, but let's go and look and see if we can track down what's causing that. Let's see, where else might we run into this? The interesting part is it's like there's a style triggering. And these two are fighting with each other. Do we put back, because this is it's almost assuredly the ripple, right? I'm just a little baffled as to what about the ripple would be doing that. Let's look at the ripple style real quick. Okay, themes, ripple time. Ripple, 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 ripple. Ripple must be generic. Ripple, there it is. Okay, so what exactly do you do? You've got a visual state, mouse press to normal, normal mouse press. I have to believe it's this ellipse, though the weird part is this thing. Okay, zoom it. Show me what this is, right? So it looks. Boy, that is interesting to me. And it's always only in one direction. It's always the top one. Yeah, it's like the focus visual or something is animating out. I'm very, 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 very confused. I mean, I know we've got a focus visual that's setting it. Let's see. So we do have a focus visual up here that's being set. I wonder, hypothetically, let's get rid of that. And then on the focus visual style, let's just explicitly null this guy out. I'm wondering if that's what's doing it. The fact that I can switch between controls and trigger it makes me highly suspicious of it. Let's see if that does it. If that does it, we'll put back the shadow stuff. Like, it's not overly critical to have the shadows in there. But I do wonder if that is the key. Boy, that focus, nope, that did it again. And the interesting part is it appears to be occurring always starts from the top. Okay. Which makes me wonder if it's the tab control itself. Because see how it comes down, like it went down halfway, stopped, and then appeared and started coming down this way. It makes me feel like there's another ripple or similar that's triggering it. And it's interesting that it only appears to be this one. Can I make it occur on the ones? So then the question being, what is different about these ones? So this one here, navigation rail. So what sets the secondary color? Am I missing it? Oh, I wonder. There's not a duplicate key in here, is there? Shouldn't be. I'm just realizing this. I don't see what's controlling this to go to the accent color. So, oh, is it the color zone mode accent? Is that what that is? That? Oh, that's why I don't see it. This is set up on the oh. Got it. So let's move this down. This should be set on the tab control itself, not on the XAML display control. Because the XAML display control is only going to pick up things inside of it. It literally just parses the XAML between its starting and ending tags. Yeah, most of these look to be set correctly. So then, okay, so given that, what is different about A versus B? The first one has the problem, the second one doesn't. So let's look. So what is going on here? So A has nothing set on it, whereas B has color zone assist mode. So what happens if no color zone assist mode is set? So it's going to pick up the default. I feel a little weird using this property to switch on everything, but that's okay, I guess. Like, it's meant to be tied to a single thing. So its default is going to be standard. So let's, I guess, be a little more explicit about this. So if we're going to rely on this for styling, so let's go setter property WPF color zone assist mode value standard. All right, so we're going to be, that should be the default. That shouldn't change anything about this. But we're just going to be very explicit about it rather than relying on the default for the dependency property. Since that could change, and I don't want a change there to break anything else. So, but I don't expect that to fix my problem. still see the line. Yeah, it's surprising to me that I see that. I'm somewhat tempted to ignore it for now, since it's a rendering glitch, and I do not see where the cause of it is, though I suspect some of it could come from embedding this color zone everywhere. Okay, hypothetical. Right, let's take this off of being a color zone. Let's make this guy a, I don't know, content control. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that. Let's see it. Let's see if it is being caused by the color zone, because the color zone itself has some special stuff around clipping for the shadows. I'm kind of wondering if that's contributing. No. So the color zone itself isn't doing it. Content control. Let's just make that a content control and see if it's something coming from. So if it's anywhere in the tab items buttony thing itself, I would expect to find it in here. Yeah, we'll just slowly, this will be a binary search. So it appears that it's the ripple. Let's put that back for the moment. I'm wondering if it's the background of the ripple that's causing it. If we look over here, I believe the ripple leverages. He's relying on a transparent background. And he should be defaulting to transparent. So if that's true, the fact that I just saw that line, yeah. So that isn't doing it. If we jump over here, if I make this background, I don't know, red, right? Let's relaunch. Does background get ignored? There's a very real chance that on the ripple it would. Ripple, the background on the ripple appears to get ignored regardless, which is not overly surprising. Let's see here. So there's a content presenter, yada 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 yada. The canvas, And the Z order of the canvas inside the grid will change depending on whether the ripple's on top or not. Kind of wonder, so if we just take the canvas out, because I am curious if it's something with this rendering transform. It seems probable. Not sure why we have a rotate and a skew. Let's see. Scale transform name cannot be found. Right. It wants to be able to find this name. Who is hunting for it? That's not it. That's at the end. Jump to the beginning. Okay. Let's see. Double animation, double animation. So I've got a bunch of animations living on it. Okay, fine. I guess I gotta take them out too. Be nice if you guys would all just go away. But clearly I'm not gonna get that lucky. So we're just gonna whack you all and hunt you down. Let's see here. Let's see, Control C, Shift N, Control C. Oh, once again, I really should script out that Karnak bit. Let's see. There. That should. Okay, so that should get rid of the animation from the ripple completely. I am wondering why do we have the canvas? Click ellipse name cannot be found. Of course there's something else being referenced by name. Oh, is it all the remaining? Great. Okay, so it's pretty much the entire visual state transitions. Got it. Every single one of them. Which shouldn't shock me. The entire point of a ripple effect is to make ripples. And if you take out the ripply part, well, there's not a lot left to it now, is there? Okay, so I'm on Visual Studio. I know, save is hard. It's a complicated operation. It involves writing files and all kinds of other weird stuff. Come on. Suppose I probably shouldn't do that while debugging. I'm sure the edit and continue is thrilled to death with me. Where is this going to go? Okay, so navigation rail. Yeah, so it is the animation of the ripple. Got it. So, something about animating the ripple is doing this. Well, okay, so my initial reaction is clipping the thing is probably, let's see, I want to go and undo everything that I've just done to the ripple. Right? There's nothing I want to keep. No. Discard everything I've done to the ripple. But I do notice that this guy has clip to bounds. Since we have direct access to the ripple, I think we should just directly set that. Doesn't look like it's being set, so how about clip to bounds true? Because I'm wondering if that's what we're seeing, is the ripple extending outside of its bounds. Which also makes me wonder if that attached property that it's looking at defaults to true or false. It defaults, okay, it defaults to true. So unless something outside was turning that off, this shouldn't have any effect. Yeah. So that's not going to do it. So mouse pressed. So I want to see what, because effectively I'm going from normal to mouse pressed, I guess. I'm not entirely sure which transition it's triggering on. Actually, that's a good point. So the ripple is a custom control. We determine when the state transitions happen. Mouse event handler. What are the odds that we're just doing something bad here? Visual state. Pressed instances. Oh. Have we just discovered a bug? Look at that. Pressed instances. I'm statics. I am thinking that this is unrelated to the tab control, and this is everything related to the ripple. Okay, if that's the case, we're going to fix it outside of this pull request. But let's confirm that. How can we test? Preview left button down. Let's see if pressed instances count is greater than 1. Insert breakpoint. Okay, I'm thinking this is what's happening. That something about this is causing it to lose its mind based on the mouse events. Once again, I think the tab control is probably just exacerbating an error we've already gotten. Because the bug occurs when I hold down my mouse button, as though the preview mouse down is just firing rapidly. So let's look at what exactly is firing rapidly. So give me events, give me let's see, command manager don't care about, keyboard don't care about, mouse I care about, mouse down, specifically preview mouse down, don't care about up, don't care about text input. Okay, so show me the mouse down events in the failure case. So off, on, off, on. So when I hold it down, I don't get a lot of events. Right? Off, on, but yet only a single one handled, and I'll note that this one triggered even after I moved away, which means it's triggering. It's not on the mouse down event. So what else are you registered for? Mouse move. Oh dear heavens, that will trigger all the time. What exactly do you do? So it grabs the positions and then moves it to the mouse out state using animations. And then drops it from the list. Just out of curiosity, if I go false there, right? Because I'm trying to understand why. So this Boolean on the end says whether we should use animations, right? So that guy there will tell the Visual State Manager whether we're going to do animations as part of this or not. It's interesting. I'm not even clicking, and I can get it to occur. Pressed instances. Okay, show me find all references. Show me what adds to it. So you would clear the list. Mouse button event would clear it. What are you registered to? Preview mouse up and preview. Well, those were preview mouse up, not down. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Wow. A little confused at that then, but it makes a little more sense. Show me if that's the case. Let's see. I wish there was an easy way to do this. I want to just clear all these items. So if I don't care about down and I only care about up and preview mouse up, okay. Feels like it has to, so it's not hitting my breakpoint, and it feels like it has to be triggering on the mouse move event, because that is the most likely for both content control and pop-up. Mouse move event, and it also picks up this last parameter here is whether it gets handled events too. So even if it gets marked as handled, this guy's still going to get a chance to act on it. So on mouse move event, coming from a content control or a pop-up, this guy iterates over the pressed instances, checks if the relative position to the ripple is negative. So off the left, off the top, off the right, off the bottom. And if it is moved off, we immediately switch gears and tell the ripple to go to state mouse out. If we look over here, this would be mouse out. But we aren't necessarily always coming from the mouse press state. Mouse out says apply scale transform of the x and y to 0, so it's going to be invisible, and make the ellipse invisible. Regardless, okay, I think we can conclude that regardless of what this bug is, it has nothing to do with the tab control and has everything to do with the ripple control. Okay, which means I don't need to address it here. Discard that line, discard that line. Let's see, let's take a look down here. I think what we can do is we can bring the shadow back. That's okay. I think we will discard the deletion of that. We'll discard the deletion of that. We're going to keep the deletion of the name because that's not necessary. We'll bring back the shadow depth setter on all of those guys. This guy down here is manipulating, so we will bring that back, we'll bring that back, and we'll bring that back. Okay, so I think that's better. Circle back to the demo and make sure that we're okay. It makes me a little scared about the ripple, because I suspect this means we likely have this bug in other places and the tab control just makes it more obvious. Or I'm sorry, navigation rail. That looks fine there. Check light theme. That looks fine. That looks fine. Okay. That all looks good to me. Okay, so what all did we do? Let's see. So removed tab control, styles. Let's see. Updated demo navigation rail for theme colors. Let's see, what else do we do? Let's see, that's remove tab control, that's the removal. Let's see, handled background and foreground theme colors, and then we are going to not include the ripple change. Stage all, commit, and push, and this will be a force push because we did a rebase, so that will send it forward, which is great. And then why is this one back here? Oh, because I created one for me back here. And I think what we may do is we may merge this. I'm somewhat tempted to reset this branch back. Now we'll leave it for now. We'll leave it for now. So this guy should be rolling. Yeah, so there's the build going. And I want to make sure that this guy doesn't get hung up like the other one did, where it just sporadically timed out. That scares me if I've got an issue with the test project timing out. Okay, so let's go back. So the tab control was the one that I wanted to make sure that we got in. I'm less confident that I'm going to shoot for the other ones, I think. And I think my plan will be new milestone 3.3.0. Okay, so we are going to go with that and get that out the door. And then we will start tagging stuff up. So let's go and figure out what we need to do for release. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep tonight's nightly release. So there is a release pipeline. And so on every merge into master, it kicks off the CI builds. I'll do this. It looks prettier like this. So on every merge into master, this CI build goes off. And then there's a nightly release that takes those CI builds and sends them out to NuGet. And then this one requires an approval gate. So if I deem it good enough, I click the button. This guy takes it from a preview NuGet to a full real boy NuGet and then ships it. So I think what I will do is make, if this merges, there's not any other major outstanding PRs that I absolutely have to have in this guy. Like the linked issue here is there's some bad output in the outputs window. That's not worth holding a release up for. This guy, I want to put some more looking into it. So we are going to probably consider this guy done. So let's jump back and let's go and see about a release. Draft a new release. That sounds better. Let's see. We are going to tag version. I need to look because I'm pretty sure we are tagging with v dot. Yeah. v dot 3.2.0. Okay, it's going to go off of master. Let's just look at how I did my other releases. I'm trying to be consistent, and at some point I'm going to script this, but that day is not today. So, version 3.2.0. Okay, and then ultimately what I want to do is I want to have release notes that look kind of like this. So we're gonna steal this much of it. Actually, I really only care about the bottom ones. So we're gonna grab this. We're gonna do this. Okay. Now, so there's a few things we need to change. So we need the milestone ID for the full list of changes. So yeah, jump me back. And if I go back into my pull requests and I look at my milestones, my milestone ID for this is number 31. What a shock. So this goes from 30 to 31. That'll get us a full list of changes. We click on it. That's what we want. Right? Next, we need pack icon changes. So I cheat, and I have a tool that I wrote to do this. And I will show it as soon as I find it here. Because I do not want to look through every icon and find their differences. That sounds miserable. That also sounds like something a computer should do for me. Okay, so this guy here, so diff icons, previous version, 3.2.0. Right, and I'm going to check real quick because I don't remember how my secrets are stored for this. So I'm just gonna check and see where they're coming from, because there is a key that is needed for this. And I don't want to be that guy again. Let's see, diff icons. Oh, there's not a key needed for this one. Okay, perfect. So this little guy here, so this is using the system command line stuff. Not using dragon fruit because I wanted to do what's called nested commands or subcommands. So I build this guy up, and more importantly, there's a command called diff. Diff has a subcommand called icons. So the invocation is diff icons, and then you pass it a previous version. And if we look at what this diff icons does, right, there's a previous version and a current version. Let's see here, and apparently current version is going to be required. I don't know why current version isn't set, so we're just going to do that. Current version is going to be 3.3.0, right? Or actually, no, 3.2.0 is going to be the current version. The previous version is 3.1.3, I think. Let's look. What was the last thing that we generated icon? Oh, our build failed. That's not good. Look in a second. Let's see. Pack icon changes. The last one we generated was up to 3.1.2. So we want this to be 3.1.2. And we want our current version to be 3.2.0. How's this going to work? Let's see. Diff icons. Do I have to gen this up after? Oh, it's just going to grab the latest 3.2.0. Yeah, that's good enough. We can... Let's just run it. Let's just run it. That should get me everything I need. So it'll go off and chug for a minute, and it'll do some stuff. And while it's doing stuff and figuring out what's wrong, let's go figure out why our build failed. Build test. So, more importantly, why did the test .NET failed with exit code 1? So unit tests failed, which explains why the publish UI thing failed. So why is this particular unit test failing? Text blocks. Let's see. Still, there's something hunting for material design tab control, and I thought we had stripped all those out. So let's just check and see what is still hunting this. Find all. Okay. Ah. Interesting. I'm wondering how the heck this is able to work. That will almost assuredly do it. So stage all changes. Let's see. Moving reference to tab control style. That'll do it. Push that guy up, and we'll let him go again. And let's see how. Failed to download material design themes. Oh, so I. Wait, what? I am confused. What version am I releasing? Let's just go back and let's go back and look at this. We're releasing 3.2.0. Right? This is going to be 3.1.2, 3.2.0. Right? Like I know what the heading is going to be here. It's saying it's failing to download. Pop you open and let you sit on the side for a minute. So it's failing to download 3.2.0. Oh, I probably have to point it. Design themes. I have to point it at a CI build. So let's point it at. I just just want to copy the last bit. Okay, CI 1966 sounds great. So go ahead and close that. And we'll point it at CI 1966. That would be a great thing to have this guy just grab the latest one out there. Failed to download. NuGet install material design themes pre-release flag is set 320 CI 1966. 320 CI 1966. What are you unhappy about? I'm missing something obvious. Let's grab this command, because that's what's being executed. And yeah, just give me a terminal. Let's go. Let's see, d:\dev GitHub helper. Alright, so cd. This guy should have the NuGet exe right there. That's the command that's saving. Or that's failing. Invoke the exe correctly. Material design themes 320 CI. Oh, do I have too many? That's why. 1966. I can't read or type. There we go. Okay. So now we have a well-formatted, albeit ridiculously long, let's see, thing that we can go and add to our wiki. So if we jump back here, pack icon changes, edit page, paste, scroll to the top. Actually, let me grab, just want to grab the formatting of this to make sure I don't mess it up. Grab it up here. Let's see, and this is going to be, let's see, 312, 320. So we picked up 519 new icons, which is, that's a lot. Technically, it's a little less than that because that's counting all the aliases. About another 150 had visual changes to them, and then there's only one that got dropped. So anybody using Microsoft Mixer, I am sorry. Okay, so we're going to save that page. And we should be able to confirm that pack icon changes do in fact take us to the right list. Great. Okay, so now the next thing we need is we need to add in my list of contributors. So if we go back here, there is another command on this little guy that will list my contributors for me. And the problem being, this guy here, milestone contributors, wants an access token. And I'm a little surprised because I thought it was taking it from an environment variable, so I'm not going to open those up on my primary screen. But it appears that is not the case. Access token, get client access token. Does this? Oh, it does pull it from an environment variable. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I should be able to just change this to, from this. Boy, I'd love to keep different ones of these around. I already forgot it. Contributors, right? And contributors is going to take in a few thingies. It just needs a milestone. So milestone, and we will feed it 3.2.0. So it will go hunting through all of the items in the milestone, and it will gen me up a list of contributors. So people who have opened pull requests or people who have done issues related to that got tagged and fixed by pull requests all get added into here. I don't think... Yeah, it intentionally strips me out of the list. The one thing that's missing here that I think would probably be a nice to add is to also include people who comment on issues or pull requests. Maybe just people who comment on pull requests, because that usually indicates they're helping review it. And so now we have a nice ordered list of people. So if you logged an issue that got fixed in this milestone, or you submitted a PR that got fixed in the milestone, as always, a huge, huge thank you. Because this stuff doesn't happen without you. Okay, so we failed again on our build. Come on. What is your problem? Quit failing and just succeed. I want unit test. Tab item compact. Well, we're getting. I'm a little shocked that these tests pass locally for me. It kind of worries me. Yeah, so we're gonna take that out too. Let's just go back to the defaults. Is there anything else with the word tab in here? So that's expected. No. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Moving tab item style reference. This is why we have tests. That way I can't accidentally shoot myself in the foot. Okay. Okay, so that guy is once again going to go back over to here. And I should see some point in the not too distant future, this thing gets a little yellow circle up here and we carry on. Okay, so next thing we need to do is look at items in the milestone that are tagged with release notes, because we need to add some release notes. So my way of handling this is close that, close that, close that, close that. So my way of handling this is if I go here, I get this, right? And then you can go through and filter. I guess we have to go here to do it. Let's see. So I want to find everything in the 3.2.0 milestone, and I want to find the ones that are labeled with release notes. And we don't care about open. What? This issue is milestone is labeled release notes. Let's try this again. Label release notes. There's nothing labeled release notes. Yeah, see, there are items. What are you talking about? I want to find label release notes, closed, 3.2.0. Okay, there's my list of release notes thingies. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, so let's see. These are all the ones that I wanted to put up to. So, and if I look at my previous releases in general, yeah, we link to the author and link to the item. I believe that's just, yeah, pound and add. Great. So data grid better matches material design spec, and that was number 1838 at, let's see, GRE. Thank you, Oliver. We're going to capitalize material design. Data grid. Boom, boom, boom. We'll just keep working our way up. Actually, this one, I think I'm going to make an executive decision that this one gets fixed. Stray lines from donors no longer appear. Let's see, 1842. This one was key because this one caused a significant number of breakages. Let's see. So name. Boom. There we go. Okay, so let's continue. Let's see. I'm going to ignore this one. So the order of these news. So the do I call it a control? It's not really a control because let's see, new styles for choice chips. We could call it list box styles, but I believe this actually includes more than this. Yeah, because it includes the regular chips as well. Yeah, I think we're going to new styles for choice chips. We're just going to abbreviate it there because it does a little more than what that title indicates. Let's see, 1847 at, let's see, why does this have my name on it? That is the actual author. I may have helped, but they did the work. Okay, so let's see what else. What else do we tag in here? Progress button assist. Sure. Move these down here. Button progress assist. Now supported on this guy. Yeah, I do. What would be great is if I could get this scripted to the point where I could have this auto-generated, because as you can see, it's not overly complex. It's not really that complex. Let's see here. So 1886. Let's see, TALA. Yeah, that one. Strong name on WPF projects. I think. I think this one bumps up here. Libraries. No. Strong named. Let's see, 1890. And for most people, this won't make a difference. For those people who care, so the strong naming of open source libraries has been hotly debated, and Microsoft has gone back and forth, but the most recent recommendation These two strong name the assemblies. So we have done so. I'm going to skip this one. What was the calendar localization one that I flagged? Oh. Trying to decide. Let's see. Let's come down here. Calendar control. Now, better localization support. Let's see, and that is 1915. Let's see. And so I will say this: I do appreciate every time when people do localization work for me. I speak English. I do not know other languages. Here in the U.S., most students are required to take a second foreign language at some point during their schooling career. I, through some weird hoop jumping, have never had to take a second foreign language. Java counted as my second foreign language credit, which is very wrong and should not count, but yet it did. Okay, so navigation rail is in. I think I want to leave one comment. I got this merged for the 3.2.0 release. I do have a copy of the work prior to tonight's changes sitting in one of my branches as well. Now, he will have all of the history, but we are going to leave just a quick link to that, just in case he wants to get back to it. So, material design, something, 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 and then my new branch here, copy, we'll just hyperlink that in. So, there. Okay, where wasn't I? Let's see, calendar control localization. Let's see, we're gonna move up here. I'm biased. App themes can now inherit Windows 10 light dark theme setting. And into inheriting. Boom. And I believe that was me. 1920. Boom. Let's keep going. So, let's see. Keep going down. There's not really a big rhyme or reason for how I'm doing this. Let's see. Apps, numeric, up and down, theme, better matches other fields. Let's see, 1923. So short version is typically some of the enhancement ones I tend to bump up a little bit. I think this guy goes here. Text field assist now supports prefix text. Let's see, 1934. We're gonna put this one down with the other one. Calendar. uses clear type. 1951. Why am I blanking? Oh, because I'm reading it. Let's see. What was this performance change? Yeah, that one is definitely worth calling out. Let's see. Expander improvements. Let's see. 1986. Boom. Let's see. Keep working my way down. At some point, it's nice to group these a little bit. Dialog host. Static close method. 2029. What was the time picker issue here? Time picker and date picker. I think I'm going to drop that one. That one will be difficult to explain in a short one. This one I know I tagged release notes, but this is going to be covered in the 4.0 release notes when the keys get changed, so I'm going to ignore that. So what was the date picker? Let's see, I'm going to put this next to the calendar, I think. Date picker improvements. Let's just close this guy out here. 2050. Oliver. Okay, so there is, I think, a long list of release notes. Though this is incomplete, refresh, there should be one more that jumps in here. Did I not tag the one that we just spent all that time on? I know it just got closed. Oh, it's right at the top. Sorry, what? PR closed. What is going on, GitHub? Why are we having problems today? You are making me unhappy. Literally, the PR that just closed a moment ago, the one I just merged. Navigation. Look at that. There it is. What did I do wrong here? Oh, I did not milestone it. That's the problem. Milestone, labels, enhancement, demo app, and definitely going to be included in the release notes. Let's see. I kind of want to do something like that, maybe. How does that look? It's not enough. A little more emphasis. A little more emphasis. Yeah. Let's see. New style for navigation rail. I think I want to link into this guy here, and I think I should go do the same thing for the Let's see here. So this guy. Nope, nope. Come back. Just want your PR number. 2026. Thank you. 2026 and H buzzing. So that's going to go there. And we wanted to grab one for. Actually, I wonder if it's already linked for me. Choice chips 1847. Let's just go look at 1847 real quick. Does this one have? Doesn't. It may have been in the previous one. Let's see here. That's not there. Okay, so that doesn't have it. So let's find it real quick because I would love to link that. Chips. Choice chips. That looks like what I want. That is exactly what I want. Let's capitalize that. Boom. Okay, so that gets me pretty much all the way there as far as the release is going to go. So that's the release notes. Trying to decide. I think what I'm going to do is wait and let it sit for a day or two, with the expectation that I click the button this weekend. So I will probably not, anything that goes in is going, unless something major comes up, I'm going to likely just leave this guy as blocked and close it. And so don't be shocked if things don't merge between now and say Friday or Saturday. But I think that's the game plan. I think 3.2.0 is going live, and away we go. That feels like success. That felt like a successful night. And so the one thing I once again want to call out here, right, is all of these people contributed to this release. So if your name is on this list, thank you, thank you, thank you. This project keeps moving forward at the sometimes insane clip that it is because of everyone contributing. So once again, I do want to thank everyone on here. This is awesome to see. So I'm going to save this as a draft. I think I am going to go and post over in the Getter chat room that heads up. Let's see. All tonight's release. Let's see. These should be considered the 3.2.0 release candidate, barring any major issues. I plan to kick it live in a couple days. So hopefully the message gets out, and if anybody is interested in testing, if there are problems, or if you test it and things are working, it's always nice for me to hear that somebody else actually clicked buttons on it. Most of my testing involves just going through the demo app, because I've tried to make sure that we've got at least one example of everything in there, as much as is reasonably possible, and just test it. And then usually I rev my sample projects up. So if people haven't seen that, I will drop a quick link to it. I keep a repository where I've just dumped. Occasionally people ask questions, and sometimes it's easier to just show an example than to actually go through and type up a full wordy explanation. Picture is worth 1,000 words. So this is my repository of pictures of just stuff. There's not really a big rhyme or reason to it, aside from, oh, looks like I've got a bug I need to go and take a look at. There's not really a rhyme or reason to this other than this is what people have asked for. So I think with that, I am probably going to sign off. I'm not sure what I'm going to work on next week. There's a chance I may end up just doing a stream on the task parallel library. I've had to answer a lot of questions in the last couple of weeks on it for people, and so usually when that happens, it indicates to me that it'd be helpful to just make a quick video on stuff about it and common pitfalls and how to set stuff up. I've kind of briefly touched on different aspects of it, specifically on like the Learn WPF video I did a while back. So people have questions, or if that's interesting, drop me a line. As always, you can comment below on the video or hit me up on Twitter. It's been cycling through on all of this. So with that, I will say good night. Happy coding.